The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the Weymouth Community Access staff or its board of directors. WCA, in compliance with FCC regulations, is prohibited from exercising control over the content of independent member-produced public access programming.
Welcome to Witnessing the Word, the cable TV show for, we used to say for the Immaculate Conception Parish, but now for the Immaculate Conception and St. Jerome Collaborative. I'm Kevin Walsh, your host for this show. And with us in the show today, we have Father Joe Rossi, our pastor once again, who was here last month, and Kathleen Puleo, the principal at the St. Jerome School in North Weymouth. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks,
Glad to
Kevin.
be here.
Father Joe, you're getting to be a regular. We're just going to leave that seat with your name on it. Every month you'll be here for something, right?
I'm not quitting my day job.
Okay. We're here to talk a little bit about St. Jerome School and how the two parishes can now interact and to introduce maybe some more to Immaculate Conception folks, the school at St. Jerome's.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kathy, why don't you just briefly tell us some of the real basics? How long has the school been there? How many kids do you have?
Mm-hmm.
Just some of the basic information.
Okay. Well, the school was founded in 1957. Sisters of Notre Dame were actually our foundresses, and my first principal there, Sister Joan St. Patrick, was a very proud member of that congregation. She was a role model for me, continues to be, as a person who was really dedicated to Catholic education, but also to the standards of teaching, and has really set her little mark on our school. So we've benefited from several of religious. We don't have any religious there now, but we have about 200 students, and looking to move that possibly forward with the addition of the Immaculate Conception Parish. We are a pre-K through grade 8 school,
Okay.
and would love to have a 3-year-old program one of these days, but that's a goal for next year, I hope.
Okay. Now, Father Joe, have you ever been in a parish where there's been a school?
This is my third one.
Okay, so you're used to some of the issues. What kinds of things do you have to deal with different than a parish without a school? What's it like?
I think having a school in a parish is a tremendous responsibility. It's also a tremendous opportunity. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, I've just taken to the students in every parochial setting where I've been. I've met some wonderful kids that they've come from some very, very supportive families. They've lent a lot of life to the parishes from which I have come. St. Jerome's being no exception. The school was only in session for a couple of weeks after my arrival, and then summer break began, but it still gave me a real insight into the beauty of Catholic education, the beauty of Catholic education within the context of St. Jerome's School, which, by the way, I would consider a gem, not being overly partial. I believe that with all my heart, and I hope by the end of this program other people see it that way as well.
Now, I know that we're still trying to kind of get our hands around the collaborative, what that is and how that's going to work. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that the school is one of those areas that is great for the collaborative effort because it's something that both parishes can kind of adopt and welcome and get involved in? Is that a fair way of maybe looking at it from a collaborative sense?
I definitely, see it as a gift to the collaborative. I mean, one of the things that we're starting to do is to share information. Many of the things that appear in St. Jerome's bulletin vis-a-vis the school are now appearing in the Bulletin of Immaculate Conception. And down the road, there may be other ways that we can, enhance that. I know that, Kathy and I have talked about possibly, Kathy getting up and maybe speaking, at the masses from the pulpit at Immaculate some Sunday. And, I mean, we have a wonderful product that we have to market and sell, but, we can't be the only ones doing it. I think, word needs to continue to spread, and we need to keep it out there in people's faces and without any apologies. It's a real sacrifice today, I think, for parents to send their kids to a Catholic school. It really is, and we're very much aware of that, and are in a position to do whatever we can, to make that a possibility for more and more.
Kathy, you touched on this briefly a moment ago, but tell us a little more about what you see as the mission of the school.
That's an easy one for me. When I took over as principal 3 years ago, I really wanted to be very clear in my own mind what the mission of the school was. And I felt truly that if we could communicate a very simple mission to our school families, that it would be easier to share that with the greater public. So we have 3 statements in our mission, 3 promises that we make. One is academic excellence, and that can be a variety of different things depending on the individual student. Excellence for them is what we have as our goal. The second one is faith at the center of everything we do. So every decision that's made at St. Jerome School is guided by our role model, Jesus Christ, and the rest of it just falls into place if that's in place. And then the third thing is service as a way to build God's community. So we have an opportunity every month for the students to engage in service, and I know that you're going to be having Angel's Voice Orphanage on after us tonight, and we have been very instrumental in committing to that. It's one of the joys of our past year was connecting with Mary and the folks who are involved with the mission. So we have an opportunity on Friday mornings at our school. We come together every morning for prayer, but on Friday mornings I share what I call how we live the mission this week, and I point out to the kids how I saw them being academically excellent and how I saw them using their faith to guide their decisions and how we built service and built our community through it. And so it makes it very easy for me to have conversations with staff and with kids if we're very clear about those 3 facets. So the kids now love to come up to me and say, Mrs. Puleo, I have something for how we live the mission. And I'm like, yes.
So they take that well.
Absolutely.
And they kind of buy into it.
Yeah. Because what it can do is it points out positives that we've accomplished as a school. So it could be that it's a teacher that did something that we've noted. It could be that it's students. It could be a whole class. Often it's parents because of the fabulous work that they do for us as volunteers. Sometimes it's members of our parish. So it doesn't matter who it was. It just matters on how they impacted our mission for that week. And then after I share it with the kids, I scoot back to my office and I post it so that the parents can read it as well. So it's a nice opportunity and it's a very clear statement.
Good. In education today, obviously, everyone is looking for excellence and successful classes that will get their children into the next level. What would you say you look at as elements of showing that St. Jerome's has been and continues to be a successful school?
Well, I think we look at those 3 facets of the mission for sure. Academically, we look at test scores. We are very proud of our test scores. It's a question that comes up when prospective families come into our building. Well, what schools do your kids go on to? And I mean it without anything but the truth. They go to whatever schools they want to go to when they're finished at St. Jerome. Many of our children go on to local schools, Notre Dame, BC High, Archbishop Williams, Fontbonne. We have them at Norfolk Agricultural. We have kids who go to public schools, often for financial reasons. But academically, our test scores are excellent. 65% of our 8th grade this year finished in the top 25% nationally. That's a pretty astounding number. And it's a reflection on the effort that all of the teachers and all of the parents have made for the time that the kids are in our school. we have an added challenge of knowing that some of our kids are going to move on to a public setting for their high school, to have them ready for MCAS. Even though MCAS is not part of our testing process, it's important that we feel confident when they leave our school that they are ready for anything that the public setting will provide.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the faith life in the school. How does the practice of your faith impact how you serve as principal?
It's the greatest joy in my job. It really is. I had a conversation recently with a parent of a student in a different parochial school, and we were having the conversation about how so many of the things that are happening in the world are challenges to address with children, particularly small children, and to be able to say to them, you know what, this is the time we need to pray. This is the time that we are going to hope for a miracle. To be able to bring the teachings of our church into the everyday it's such a gift. And my hope is that because the faith piece is so important to the adults in the building, that in the time that the kids are in the building, they'll embrace that too. It's huge. It's the best gift of Catholic education.
And Father Joe, I'm assuming that there are times when you'll be able to go into the school and maybe deal with the students on a one-on-one or in the classroom, but kind of get right down with them and help them with their faith life.
I don't really have anything to do with the classroom at all, do I?
Father Joe is in the school, trust me. Trust me.
They know who you are.
That's one
yes.
That's one of the joys. I mean, just today, being in the school while we have this summer camp going on, and just seeing, exuberance and excitement and innocence and youthfulness on their part just fills me with a sense of our mission to love as Jesus loved, to teach as Jesus taught, and to do it in such a way that shares with others the benefits of the faith, but also what you get, from the children and from their families is more than money can buy. The school has been great. I intend to spend oodles of time over there and to support the school as best I can, given the collaborative arrangement now. But hopefully the school will not fall through the cracks as long as I'm around. And,
now, were the previous parishes that you were at, which had schools, did they have grade schools?
Yes,
Okay.
Elementary grade schools, pre-K through grade 8, just like ours. Larger schools. St. Jerome's School is the smallest school that I've ever been associated with. And
But
so
the best.
It's quality. It's quality, not quantity. You're right. You're right.
Okay, we have to take a break for a moment, and in a few seconds we'll be back and talk some more about our great new school, or old school, but new to us at
There you
Immaculate.
go. Glad to do
We'll
it.
see you in a moment. The Word, and our show this evening is about the St. Jerome School and the way it fits into the collaborative of the St. Jerome and Immaculate Conception Parish. And that kind of leads me into the next question, and we have again Father Joe Rossi, the pastor of the collaborative, and Kathy Puleo, the principal of St. Jerome School. Kathy, how do you see the collaborative effort impacting St. Jerome's? This has to be an issue that you're dealing with, and it's one of these things that's new for everybody. How does that affect you and the school?
I hope very positively. That was my first impression when we had our very first collaborative meeting back almost a year ago now. And I was so enlivened by the response of the people from Immaculate that came into that meeting. Obviously, we know the value of the school at St. Jerome Parish, and have been so fortunate to have many parishioners support the school in ways that have really made an impact. We have a few volunteers who teach languages in our school, always people there available to help with community building projects and events, Italian dinners and things like that. But I think that by having double the numbers of people looking at the school, we really benefit from double the thinking, the opportunities for people to come in and offer service in the school. And one of the things that I took away from that first meeting was the thinking of a number of people who said that the future of our faith is in the children. So even though they hadn't had an experience with the school directly, they were already tuned into the fact that, we're working so hard at this evangelization, and the children are really going to be the tool to make that happen for all of us. So to see the energy of children, I think it really brings out the best in everybody. And I think that if people in Immaculate are interested in coming in to see what we do at the school, there are a million ways that we'd embrace their energies and their thinking, their talents, and help us help those children.
If anyone, but in particular maybe a member of Immaculate who don't know a lot about St. Jerome School, if they wanted to come over and look and kind of get introduced to the place, is that something that would be possible?
Absolutely. As Father said, we do put messaging into the bulletin to welcome people in, and a phrase that I use is that every day is an open house at St. Jerome. So we're always looking for people to come in, see what we do. It's hard for people to share the message if they haven't seen it, up close. And so I would love to have people come in the building, take a tour, whether they're people that have children that are looking at the school as a possible setting for their education, person who has a talent that they'd like to share, or just a parishioner who is interested in knowing what's going on at that school that we both love.
Okay. Let me ask both of you, but Kathy, I'll start with you. How do you see St. Jerome's being a catalyst for getting more interaction between the two parishes in this new collaborative?
I think that we are going to benefit from both sides. That was another part of the conversation we had at the beginning. But there's always something going on at St. Jerome School.
Yeah.
There always is. So whether it's an event in the school, we have a Veterans Day show, we put on a grandparent celebration in the spring. Anytime there's something going on, Christmas show, we're always putting it in the bulletin saying, come on in and see what these kids are doing. We have a band concert. Lots of times we have an event that the parents are running, so whether it's an Italian night, or game night every first Friday of every month, that families can come to, bring a board game and enjoy. So I think there are going to be some pretty basic, really simple, comfortable ways for us to meet each other. I said to Father at one point, I think we should all get some kind of a pin that we put on our lapels so that if I run into you in the grocery store, I know you're amongst us. But I do think that if you pay attention in the bulletins, you're going to be seeing more and more ways that we'll welcome people from Immaculate to St. Jerome, and we would hope that Immaculate would, extend that as well.
Do you still have a basketball team?
We do.
So families with young children might want to come over on a Friday or Saturday and get some popcorn and watch a game. And
we still run a basketball program on Saturday mornings that's not open just to students who attend St. Jerome. It's a Weymouth opportunity that's run by one of our dads. But we also have drama programs so that we run a smaller production in the fall and then a full-scale musical in the spring. Our competitive Legos robotic team has been competitive in the Quincy qualifier and on to the state finals for 4 years. There's always something going on. So we would love to have people come in and see it.
Father Joe, how do you see the school assisting in the collaborative effort between the two parishes?
If you take all the things that Mrs. Puleo just mentioned, I'm also thinking of what else is there that perhaps is down the road or is to come. I think that there's a real openness to allowing this process to evolve. I really sense a real openness on the part of the people from both parishes. So how this thing will blossom and bloom in even other ways, who knows? But we're certainly open to that, and I think that there is an openness in our community. So with that openness, our God of surprises will prevail, and let it happen.
Okay. Now, Kathy, are there any things that you're especially looking forward to as the new school year is about to start and we're now fully in the collaborative process?
Children coming back. There's been a camp there for 4 weeks this summer, so it's been an extra nice summer as far as having people in the building. But certainly having the children back, we have 2 new staff members, 7th and 8th grade teachers are new, and rolling out our iPads in grade 8, so that was part of our technology training today.
What do you mean,
So
rolling out the iPads?
We'll have an iPad program. All of our students will have their own iPads.
No kidding.
To take back and forth with them. Textbooks will be loaded on, so those
Wow.
backpacks that have been such a challenge all along,
Yeah.
will lessen the load a little bit by having a couple of their textbooks online. So,
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And today's technology training was on updating teachers' abilities to keep current with their website pages and new grading system online. So the technology piece is huge. I like to remind people that we keep the best of traditional teaching and enhance it with technology, not vice versa. So
Now, the iPad program, is that something that the students have to pay for, or is that kind of included in
our
the
parent
tuition?
council has worked ceaselessly over the last 2 years to fund it. So their efforts have made it possible, and there'll be a small fee for insurance, but beyond that, the cost is absorbed by the school.
Terrific. And what else might you want to tell, particularly folks at Immaculate, about St. Jerome's? Anything special that we might not know about that you think is a little different and important?
Well, there are several things that make it special. I would say the consistency of the staff has been impressive to me. I think that we do a reasonably good job of paying folks, but it's certainly not comparable to what they could make elsewhere. They're qualified teachers. They're certified teachers. Sometimes I think there's a notion that teachers in public and private and parochial schools have a different set of standards that they have to meet, which is not the case at all. Our teachers are recertified with state licenses as everybody else is, so we're guided by the same standards. Our school is now aligned to the Common Core, which is the national curriculum. The way the national curriculum works, 85% of everybody's curriculum has to be from that, and 15% is an enhancement. And I like to tell people that 30 minutes a day we spend in teaching and sharing faith. So in the same window of time, we take 30 minutes a day away from content teaching, and yet our students still perform on the highest level. So I think it's a dynamic place. We hold ourselves to a pretty high standard. Just finished sitting with teachers going over their self-assessments, and they're honest in strengths and weaknesses, and it's a very open conversation. So I always feel like we're moving forward.
How big are the average classes at St. Jerome's?
Our kindergarten is full, and our smallest is 17.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a variation, but
And are there any programs that you'd like to see enhanced or maybe started that maybe could be helped by having Immaculate part of the process?
Sure. Always looking to give more help. We do have a resource teacher 2 days a week, so that we are able to support a certain level of student who might not think that parochial school is for them. They need, a little bit of extra help in content areas and so on. So we have a wonderful, wonderful teacher, Christine Conley, who works one-on-one or in small groups with them. We have a pull-out math group for our 8th grade students who might be on the line between readiness and not ready for algebra. We have a language program that's pre-K through grade 8, our Spanish program. Up until this year, we had French. Our volunteer, the wonderful Fred Sheehan, who'd been in our school for years and years, passed away, and we ache for the loss. But we still have John Peruzzi there, who's teaching Italian and Italian culture in our 5th grade classroom. So I think there are language opportunities like that. Those are both volunteers from our parish of longstanding, and I'm sure that there are people in Immaculate who have like talents, that might have the energy and the inclination, but just don't know where to share them. We would be delighted to have that conversation. So we do a program in May called Fun Fridays, and it's a great collection of different things. It's photography and painting and all kinds of things that we just open it up and we say, okay, Kevin, what talent have you got that you'd like to come in and share with our kids? And you'd be amazed. So we'd love to have people from Immaculate come and be part of that.
Good. Father Joe, what kinds of things can you think of that we might do at Immaculate to get more involved in the St. Jerome school family?
One of the things that Mrs. Puleo mentioned early on was the possible establishment of a program for 3-year-olds. Probably not going to happen this year, but it could be something that happens, whether it happens at St. Jerome's, Immaculate, however it's set up, but it could be a great way to kind of fee, what we're doing. I think that the model that we have at St. Jerome's, the pre-K through grade 8 model, there is something to be said for that, and keeping that model, intact and offering it as an option among other options. I think it's a very, very viable option, and something like this could not only enhance the collaborative, but also probably enhance the already great things that are happening there.
Okay.
So.
Now, Kathy, in addition to doing things like appearing on this cable TV show, what other things are you trying to do to spread the word and let people know that the school is there and that it's now part of the collaborative environment?
We haven't done anything so much directed at the collaborative up until now. We have magazine articles, obviously articles in the pilot. South Shore Living, it does an education issue every year that we've been fortunate enough to be included in. And so things like that. The bulletin is a great tool for us to get the word out. I'm excited about the possibilities from the collaborative because, again, that first meeting, the effort was made to mix the two parishes together, so it wasn't everybody that knew each other sitting together. And there were wonderful, wonderful ideas there about how we could, for example, the faith formation programs, the confirmation program. So to have each parish have their own program keeps us separate, to find ways to blend those. So whether it's ministries that are already in place and we share those, or whether it's a ministry that exists in one parish or the other and people are drawn to it and invited to it even though it's maintained in one section or another. I think the possibilities are limitless. I really do. And I know when they were first looking at this collaborative, they invited the principals in and they said, how are you feeling about this? What are you looking for with this? And I said to them at the time, I'm thrilled. I think it's only going to make us stronger. And what we're looking for, what I was looking for in a pastor, was not somebody who would take a school, but who wanted a school. I wanted it to be a person who would come in and enliven us with new ideas, feel comfortable to come in and help the children develop their own faith, and to be part of the staff in a very positive way. So I think we got him. I do.
I think so.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
We've got about a minute and a half left. So is there anything that you'd like to tell folks maybe that we haven't mentioned about the school or about the collaborative process that you think would be important for folks to know? Either one of you, jump in.
Anything.
Kathy, you start first.
Okay.
I'll put you on the
I think
line.
that effort needs to be made to embrace the energy that's there. Father and I talked about this literally this afternoon. I think the response has been overwhelmingly positive. I think that there are still people who need to know more about it, and I think it's hopeful and helpful to have these conversations to get the information out there. But I just see all kinds of potential, and I really do view the school as a vehicle for bringing people together in a way that feels comfortable. Come on down, just see what we do, and then you'll have a feeling for how you can be part of that. And I really encourage that. That's from these 4-year-olds that are in our preschool program, Mrs. Navin, phenomenal, all the way up to Mr. Peruzzi, who, God bless him, at 82 is still actively involved in our school. Parents. So if you have something that you view as a positive, a skill, a thinking, it could be you come to see us and share a reading hour. I just really feel like once people get into the building, we'll have them. We'll have them. They're going to love it. So I do encourage people to come and see us.
Good. Father Joe, about 30 seconds. Do you have anything you'd like to say about last minute about the school or about the collaborative involved in it?
The whole collaborative piece, it's far more than simply a new way of doing things. It's really a new way of being. It's a new identity. It's who we are now. And so you take the most important aspect of parish life, which is worship. It's not about worshiping in such a way that it's going to save me time and energy, but it's worshiping in a manner that is consistent with who we are as a collaborative. And then that follows all the way through the system, through the various ministries, through the collaborative school, and so forth. So it's getting people to embrace that. And it's definitely going to take time. There's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, there'll be some successes, some mistakes. We'll go back to the drawing board. We'll work at it until we get it as right as we can.
Okay. Well, thank you both for being on the show, and it's been great to hear about the school. We'll look forward to hearing more maybe mid-year.
Would love to.
Thanks for joining Witnessing the Word.
Witnessing the Word is produced by the parish community of the Immaculate Conception in East Weymouth. We welcome new members to our parish. If you are no longer a practicing Catholic, please consider joining us some Sunday for Mass. If you are not currently active in a church and are interested in finding out more about the Catholic faith, join us some Sunday. Feel free to talk to our pastor or one of our permanent deacons. On behalf of our pastor, Father Bill Salmon, thank you for joining us in Witnessing the Word.